Hey beer trippers, Ryan back for another episode of San Diego Beer Vlog. Thanks for joining me once again. We're at a different angle today because we're going to be taking a look at a beer that I've had on draft for the last probably 3 weeks or so. And that's from AleSmith. This is their Nautical Nut Brown Ale. Right now it is a draft only beer for AleSmith. So this is the first beer I bought for my kegerator. I haven't got my homebrews in here yet, but I'm going to be doing that shortly. But let's get this thing poured. This beer at this point is about a month old or so. I got it pretty fresh when I picked it up at AleSmith. I think at that point it maybe had been less than a week old. So let's take a look at this one. I got about a finger ahead. I can adjust that since there's a CO2 tank on there. Pretty small bubbles. It's a very, very light brown head. Color-wise, let's see, hold this thing up to light. It is pretty much like straight up brown out of the light, but holding it up to the light, I definitely get a reddish kind of, ruby reddish kind of tint to it. So very much on par for the style. And of course, being a kegerator, I have this thing set fairly cold, but not, too cold. But let's get the aroma on it. Oh yeah, I love the aroma on this beer. Immediately get a lot of nuttiness and roasted malt. Underneath that I get slight hints of chocolate and some breadiness, which is really nice. It's like, it's just a great smelling beer. Pretty much what I look for now in a brown ale and the aroma. It's kind of what I get from this. There's a few other brown ales I've had that are close to the aroma. But it smells so just fresh, like very, very fresh malts. All those malts are very fresh. So let's dive into this one. Cheers. So it's a little too cold right now, but it still tastes great. So light and refreshing. I believe it's about 5 or 5.5% ABV. I'll have to look that one up. Get it posted on the screen below. So it's not like an imperial brown or anything. This is just a straight up, English sort of brown ale. When it was fresh, I was getting a bit more hot. You get like a slight bits of sort of like grassy, kind of earthy hop notes up front. I still get a little bit of that, but up front I sort of get this bready, slightly caramel notes. And then the back end is where this beer really brings a lot of flavor to the table, but still remains refreshing. Because once the kind of bready caramel notes come, the darker malts come forward. You get chocolate and coffee on it, but not intense chocolate and coffee like you would on a porter. And then right kind of aftertaste after it goes down, I get like a really nice kind of nutty breadiness to it. Hence the nautical nut part. I'm going to let this warm up and I'll get back to you at the proper drinking temperature. Okay, I'm back with AleSmith Nautical Nut Brown. This beer leaves some pretty good lacing in my glass. It's usually the case with this one. Not much of a head, but you can swirl it back up. Like I said, I can control how much carbonation goes into the beer at this point because I dispense it with CO2. So I just keep it kind of on the low side like you would kind of maybe cask ale, but not too low. As I drink more of this, I think the nuttiness and the coffee notes really come out the most. Up front is like this kind of, it's very nutty kind of up front. Kind of add in some of the like breadiness from probably their base malt they're using along with the nuttiness. And then it transitions mostly to coffee on the back end. A real nice kind of bitterish coffee. Keeps the beer balanced, it's not overly sweet. It's got a good solid medium mouthfeel. You can drink a lot of this, no problem. Very sessionable, very smooth. The back end's really smooth. There is some roastiness in there to kind of go with that coffee, so that kind of lends some bitterness to the beer. But it's very balanced. Leaves a very nice, clean, dry finish on your palate, and it's just an amazing brown ale. If you ever see it on draft, I recommend getting it. If you've never had if you don't like regular brown ales, I suggest at least trying this one. If you don't like this one, then you probably just don't like brown ales, period. But I know a lot of people will probably like this one a lot. They've just never had good brown ales, and maybe they expect everything to kind of be like Newcastle. Well, this is far superior to Newcastle, and I'm going to give this one an A. It's an excellent, excellent brown ale. There's another one brewed by Pizza Port Carlsbad that's very, very close to this in terms of like my favorite brown ales, and then Mammoth Brewing Company up north just came back from there. They do an excellent nut brown ale, which I might review as well. But this one, I believe, is probably the best regular non-imperialized brown ale I've ever had. So should be, you know, shouldn't be too much of a surprise that AleSmith brews it, because everything they do is pretty much fantastic. So that's going to wrap it up for this review. Until next time, please comment and subscribe. Cheers.